My name is Sarah Thompson, and the day I realized my family had been treating me like free labor while paying my brother handsomely for ideas he stole from me, my mom didn't apologize. She just looked me dead in the eye and said, "Sarah, honey, Mike's the brains of this operation. You're the hands. That's how family works. We all play our part, and sometimes that part doesn't come with a paycheck." I was standing in the middle of a half-framed house in the Mueller neighborhood of Austin, Texas, on a blistering June afternoon in 2023. The temperature was pushing 105 degrees Fahrenheit, the kind of heat that makes the air shimmer above the concrete slab and turns your hard hat into a sauna. Sweat was pouring down my back, soaking through my high-vis shirt, and my steel-toe boots were caked in red clay mud from the site. I'd been on the job since 5:30 a.m., coordinating the concrete pour for the foundation, yelling at the pump truck driver to watch his boom swing so it didn't clip the rebar cage, double-checking spacing with a tape measure because one failed inspection from the city of Austin could set us back weeks and thousands in penalties. My phone buzzed in my pocket with Mom's voicemail while I was up on a ladder helping the framer set a load-bearing beam. I climbed down, told my lead foreman Miguel I needed 5 minutes, and sat in the cab of my dusty 2012 Ford F-150 with the AC blasting cold air that smelled faintly of sawdust and Gatorade. "Sarah, just wanted to let you know, Mike closed that big Pflugerville apartment deal today. The developer signed. We're giving him a $15,000 bonus for landing it. It's all going back into the family pot, of course. So proud of your brother." I didn't scream. I didn't throw my phone across the site. I just sat there, hands gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went white, and texted Mom one word: "Congrats." But inside, something broke wide open. A dam I'd been holding back for years finally cracked. Before I tell you how I quietly gathered proof, walked away with my entire network of subs and clients, and built a company that left theirs scrambling in the dust, hit subscribe if you've ever been the invisible family workhorse, the one who shows up at dawn, gets dirty, solves every crisis, and keeps the whole operation running, while someone else cashes the big checks and gets the praise. And drop a comment below. Have you ever done all the real work while a sibling or parent took the glory and the money? Stay with me. This story has layers, and it gets satisfying. Let's go back to how it all started, because understanding the slow buildup is what makes the ending hit harder. My dad, Robert Thompson, founded Thompson Construction in 1992, when Austin was still a quirky college town, famous for live music, Barton Springs, and not much else. He started with residential custom homes out in the hill country, those cedar and stone beauties with big porches overlooking the Oaks. By the late 90s, he'd branched into light commercial, strip centers in Round Rock, small medical offices in Cedar Park. Dad was old school Texas. Handshake deals, always pay your subs on time even if it meant dipping into savings, treat your crew like extended family. He'd grill brisket for the guys after a big pour, hand out cold beers, non-alcoholic for the designated drivers, and remember everyone's kids' names. I grew up on those job sites. From age 12, summers meant riding shotgun in Dad's white Chevy Silverado, handing him nails, learning to swing a hammer straight, reading blueprints before I could parallel park. I loved the rhythm of it. The smell of fresh-cut pine 2x4s, the roar of air compressors and skill saws, the way a bare dirt lot slowly transformed into walls, roofs, and eventually someone's dream home where kids would grow up and memories would be made. When Dad had his heart attack in 2010, triple bypass at just 55, Mom, Linda, panicked. The business nearly folded. She begged me, a sophomore in high school, to help out after classes and on weekends. "Just until your dad's back on his feet, Sarah. We can't lose everything he built." Dad recovered, but I never really left. I graduated high school in 2013, turned down a partial scholarship to UT Austin for civil engineering because family needs me right now, and went full-time with the company at 18. "You've got sawdust in your blood, kiddo," Dad said, clapping me on the back the day I got my first hard hat with my name stenciled on it. Mike, my older brother Michael, was different from the start. 4 years older, he was the golden child, charming, outgoing, always talking his way out of chores. He partied his way through Texas A&M and College Station, majored in business management, graduated in 2017 with a 2.8 GPA, a lot of tailgate stories, and zero interest in swinging a hammer. When he moved back to Austin, Mom immediately carved out a cushy role for him in the office we rented on Congress Avenue. He'll handle bids, contracts, client relations, and networking, she announced at a family dinner like it was the most natural thing in the world. You stay on the site, Sarah. You're so good with the crews and the hands-on stuff. At first, it genuinely made sense. I hated wearing anything nicer than Carhartts and steel toes. Small talk at networking events made me want to hide behind a porta potty. I thrived on problem solving in real time, fixing a framing error before the inspector showed up, talking a stressed out subcontractor off the ledge when material delays hit, negotiating with suppliers when lumber prices doubled after the 2021 Texas winter storm froze the mills. I invested in myself too, got my OSHA 30-hour certification, forklift operator license, even my Part 107 drone pilot certificate when aerial site surveys became standard for big bids. I mastered ProEst and Bluebeam software for estimating and takeoffs, learned the ins and outs of Austin's ever-changing building codes, especially the new energy efficiency requirements and stormwater regulations that tripped up a lot of older contractors. Mike? He showed up in pressed khakis and company polos, sipped overpriced coffee from Joe's on South Congress, took clients to steak lunches at Perry's or Jeffrey's, and played golf at private clubs like Onion Creek or Barton Creek to build relationships. His main contributions were glossy PowerPoint decks full of stock photos, buzzwords like synergy, value engineering, and sustainable practices, and cover letters that made everything sound fancier. The bonuses started creeping in around 2019. A $5,000 incentive for closing a boutique renovation in Hyde Park, an $8,000 check after a medical office build-out in Cedar Park. Mom always framed them as fuel for growth or reinvesting in the family pot. My compensation? I told myself it was temporary. Once we hit consistent 7 figures, Mom kept promising over Sunday dinners, we'll formalize everything: salary, benefits, equity, the whole package. We crossed $1 million in gross revenue in 2021, riding Austin's insane post-COVID boom. Tesla's Gigafactory in Travis County, Oracle relocating its HQ, Apple expanding, Samsung's chip plant. Every tech giant moving in needed housing tracts, office parks, and retail. Our backlog tripled practically overnight. Mike got a brand new company truck, a fully loaded Ram 1500 Limited with the 5.7-liter Hemi, leather seats, the works, $70K sticker price. I was still daily driving my high school era F-150 with 220,000 miles, a slipping transmission, and a cracked dashboard from the Texas sun. That's when I started asking harder questions. Mom, when do I get on actual salary with benefits? Soon, honey. Cash flow's tight right now with the new equipment loan and rising material costs. Mom, the books showed almost $200K in profit last year. Can we at least talk health insurance? Mike's shopping quotes. It's complicated with a small business. My best friend Emily, known her since middle school, now an HR manager at a fintech startup in the domain, called it straight one night over spicy margaritas and queso at Matt's El Rancho on South Lamar. I laughed it off at the time. It's not that bad. I love the work, the creativity, the problem solving, seeing something rise from dirt. But the seed was planted, and it started sprouting roots. The Pflugerville apartment complex was the final straw. It was a 50-unit affordable housing project announced in early 2023. Huge city incentives under Texas's Chapter 380 economic development agreements, property tax abatements, density bonuses for including low-income units. The profit margins were mouth-watering if you could navigate the red tape. I found the RFP on the City of Pflugerville's website one random Tuesday night while eating Torchy's tacos in my apartment. I drove the site myself the next weekend, old farmland off SH 130, with good access to the toll road. I coordinated soil borings with a geotech firm I'd used reliably for years, flew my drone for topographic mapping and progress photos, spent evenings crunching numbers in ProEst to keep us competitive, despite steel and concrete prices still elevated from supply chain chaos. 3 straight weeks of nights and weekends went into that bid package. Detailed cost breakdowns, phase schedule with critical path highlighted, value engineering alternatives to shave costs without sacrificing quality, even a sustainability section highlighting local sourcing to align with the city's green initiatives. I emailed the final 45-page PDF to Mike with a simple note. Here's the Pflugerville bid. Everything's dialed in. Let me know if you need any tweaks before submission. He replied 2 hours later. Looks solid, sis. I'll polish the executive summary and present it. He polished it by adding a fancy cover page, swapping fonts to something more corporate, and inserting a few stock photos of happy families in new apartments. Then he closed the deal over steaks and scotch at Jeffrey's downtown with a Dallas-based developer. Contract signed in late May, $3.5 million total, with our estimated profit after subs and overhead coming in around $820,000. That's when Mom left the voicemail about Mike's $15,000 bonus. I confronted her that same evening at the family home in Cedar Park, the classic Texas ranch-style house on 2 acres Dad bought back in 1988 for $120K, now appraised at $1.2 million, thanks to Austin's skyrocketing real estate. Dad was kicked back in his lazy boy watching the Rangers game on Fox Sports Southwest, cold Bud Light in hand. Mom was in the kitchen reheating brisket leftovers and making her famous jalapeno creamed corn. Mom, Mike's getting $15,000 for the Pflugerville deal? She didn't even pause slicing the meat. He earned it, Sarah. Close with a big developer. Those relationships don't grow on trees. I built the entire bid from scratch. I found the RFP, surveyed the site, ran the numbers, negotiated supplier holds, and Mike sealed it. Clients trust him. He's polished, professional, knows how to talk their language. I'm professional. I've got more certifications than he's ever bothered to get. I'm the one who fixes his mistakes, like that domain retail project where he forgot the tree preservation plan and almost got his red tagged. Dad muttered from the living room, "Watch the language, girls." Mom sighed theatrically, wiping her hands on the bless this mess dish towel hanging from the oven handle. You're invaluable on-site, Sarah. The crews love you, the subs trust you. But Mike's the face of the company now. He networks at Greater Austin Chamber Mixers, Glad Hands developers at SXSW panels. That's how we scale. So the work I do every day, sun up to sundown, 100-degree heat, solving real problems, is worth nothing? Of course it has worth. But family doesn't keep a scoreboard. You're building equity in the legacy. One day, this will all be yours and Mike's equally. Mike chose that moment to stroll in, fresh from happy hour at a rooftop bar downtown, cheeks flushed and smelling like bourbon. Heard about the bonus? First round at Abel's on the lake this weekend is on me. I forced a tight smile, mumbled something about an early morning, and left. That night in my small East Austin apartment, second floor walk-up with creaky hardwood floors, a tiny balcony overlooking Rainer Park, and walls covered in framed photos of finished projects, I couldn't sleep. The window unit AC rattled like an old diesel engine, cicadas screamed outside, and the city lights flickered through the blinds. I opened my work MacBook and started pulling records I had access to. As site manager, I had limited QuickBooks access for entering material invoices, subcontractor payments, and job cost tracking. It was enough to see the big picture. Mike's 2022 W-2, $120,000 base salary plus $48,000 in documented bonuses. My compensation, Cody as 1099 independent contractor, $24,000 total for the year, broken into monthly $2,000 stipends. No health insurance, no 401k match, no paid vacation, no overtime. The IRS would absolutely classify me as a misclassified employee if anyone ever audited. Email chains going back years. Me sending Mike complete bid packages with detailed takeoffs, schedule logic, and risk assessments. Him replying things like, "Great work, sis. I'll handle the presentation and close." Client feedback forms we collected from marketing and Google reviews. Dozens praising Sarah's attention to detail, Sarah's quick problem solving when the city inspector threw curveballs. Sarah's crew was the most professional we've worked with. I created a new folder on my desktop, Thompson Reality Check. Started dropping in screenshots, exported PDFs, timestamps. But I knew I needed more, undeniable third-party proof that couldn't be dismissed as sibling jealousy. The next week, I started having quiet conversations over breakfast tacos and coffee. Miguel Ramirez, my lead foreman, a third-generation Austinite of Mexican descent who'd been with Dad since the early 2000s, met me at Veracruz All Natural on Cesar Chavez. Over migas and fresh horchata, he didn't hold back. "Mija, you know I respect your dad like my own, but this thing with Mike, it's not right. You run every job. You're the one who makes sure we finish on time and under budget. Mike, he calls once a week for a photo update I already sent you. Have payments ever been late to you guys under him?" Twice last year. He blamed cash flow issues, but I see that shiny new Ram he drives. Jenny Morales, our go-to plumber for 10 years. Sarah, you personally saved my license on that Zilker mixed-use reno when the city red tagged us over backflow prevention. Mike, I've never even met the guy in person. Carlos Ortega, master electrician. He promised early finish bonuses on 2 projects, talked big, never saw a dime. You, though, you always make sure we get paid on time, even if it means calling suppliers yourself. Mike showing off his new Yeti cooler and regaling everyone with stories of closing the big one. After plates were cleared and the kids were running through the sprinkler, I said casually, "Hey, family meeting? Den and 10?" Dad looked confused. Mom's eyes narrowed. Mike rolled his. In the wood-paneled den, Dad's high school football trophies still on the shelf, Longhorns memorabilia everywhere, I connected my MacBook to the 75-inch Samsung TV and opened the folder. Slide 1. Revenue growth graph 2015-2023. Massive upward spike starting the year I went full-time. Slide 2. Side-by-side payroll comparison. Mike's 6-figure W-2s versus my 1099 scraps. Slide 3. Email chains showing my bid packages becoming his presentations. Slide 4. Subcontractor statements. Slide 5. QuickBooks screenshots with the damning internal notes. Dad's face went pale underneath his summer tan. "Linda, what in God's name is this?" Mom immediately went defensive. "This is private company financial information. You had no right." "It's my life," I said calmly. 8 years of unpaid expertise while Mike profits off it. Mike jumped in. "You're spying now? This is paranoid and ungrateful." Dad raised his voice, a rare thing. "Quiet. This ain't right. Sarah's been the backbone since she was a kid." Mom tried the classic guilt play. "We gave you a career, a purpose. Most parents don't hand their kids a thriving business to grow into." "You handed me unpaid labor," I cut in. "While paying Mike 6 figures plus bonuses to play golf and drink bourbon with developers." The room went dead silent, except for the hum of the AC. I laid out my demands clearly. Immediate proper employment status with $100K base salary, full benefits including health insurance and 401k match. Back pay for the last 3 years at fair market rate for a senior project manager in Austin, approximately $240,000 total. 40% equity in the company with voting rights and a seat on any future decision-making board. Full transparency going forward. Third-party accountant, open books, performance-based bonuses tied to actual contributions. "Or what?" Mike sneered, crossing his arms. "Or I walk, and I take my reputation, my relationships, and my expertise with me." They laughed, actually laughed. "Mom, you wouldn't dare destroy everything your father built over money?" Dad looked torn, but stayed quiet. "Watch me," I said. I submitted formal 2 weeks' notice the next Tuesday. Spent those weeks training my replacement, a young, eager 22-year-old named Tyler, straight out of Austin Community College's construction management program. Good kid, lots of book knowledge, 0 real-world grit yet. Then the quiet exodus began. Miguel texted me 3 days later. "Sarah, you've always treated us with respect and paid on time. I'm coming with you wherever you go. My whole framing crew, too. Jenny the plumber? Count me in. Carlos? Same. We follow the person who actually keeps promises." Half our best subcontractors, representing 70–80% of labor hours, jumped ship within a month. Clients started reaching out directly. The Pflugerville developer called me personally. "Sarah, word's getting around you're going independent. Your work on phase 1 was impeccable. The city inspectors raved about your prep. We want you exclusively for phase 2 and our upcoming Cedar Creek townhome project." By October 2023, I'd filed paperwork for Sarah Builds LLC with the Texas Secretary of State, rented a small office suite on South Congress, exposed brick walls, big windows looking out over the iconic Austin skyline, walking distance to Home Slice Pizza and Torchy's for client lunches. My first 3 signed contracts totaled $1.1 million. Meanwhile, back at Thompson Construction, absolute chaos. Job sites stalled, subs no-showed. Mike botched a critical bid for a downtown office retrofit, forgot to account for the new 2023 Austin Energy Code stormwater retention requirements, and lost a $900,000 job to a competitor. Cash flow cratered fast. Dad had to pull from his personal retirement account to make payroll and keep the lights on. He called me crying in November, voice cracking over the phone. "Baby girl, please come home. We'll make it right, I promise." "Dad, it should have been right years ago. I gave you the chance to fix it. You chose Mike's version of the story." Mom oscillated between rage texts. "You're tearing this family apart," and desperate bargaining voicemails, then went radio silent when I didn't budge. Mike's brand new Ram 1500 got repossessed in February 2024. He couldn't make the $900 per month payments once the bonuses dried up. By the end of 2024, Thompson Construction was limping along with 2 small kitchen remodels and revenue under $400K, barely enough to cover overhead. Sarah Builds, we closed 2024 with $2.8 million in signed contracts for 2025, a crew of 10 full-time employees, complete with health insurance, 401K, paid overtime, and actual career paths, and awards rolling in. Best woman-owned business from the Greater Austin Chamber of Commerce, and a full feature spread in Texas Contractor magazine, titled From Family Shadow to Industry Leader. Dad showed up unannounced at my South Congress office in March 2025. He sat in the guest chair, Stetson hat in his hands, eyes red. "I'm so damn proud of you, Sarah. And I'm sorry. I let your mom and Mike steamroll things. I should have stood up for you sooner." We hugged for a long time. He's welcome on my sites anytime. Advisory role, no pressure. We've rebuilt something real. Mom sent a stiff Hallmark apology card around my birthday. I appreciated the gesture, but we're still low contact. Mike moved to Dallas, selling commercial insurance for a big firm. We haven't spoken since the barbecue confrontation. Now, here we are, December 26th, 2025. I'm standing on a new site out in Dripping Springs, watching the sunrise paint the hill country gold. It's a custom modern farmhouse for a Nashville musician relocating to Austin. Clean lines, big windows, native limestone accents. My crew's already blasting Los Tigres del Norte from the job site speaker, coffee thermoses steaming in the cool morning air, concrete trucks lining up for the slab pour. My phone buzzes with a notification. Another bid accepted. This one a $4.2 million mixed-use development in East Austin, retail below, condos above. I smile, snap a quick photo for our company Instagram, and get back to work. If you've ever been the family mule, the one who carries the heaviest load while others ride comfortable and collect the rewards, know this with every fiber of your being. Your skills, your time, your expertise, they are not charity. Your loyalty does not mean you owe anyone free labor forever. And your future, your legacy, does not have to stay chained to people who undervalue you just because you share DNA. Sometimes the healthiest, most powerful thing you can do is walk away and build something undeniably yours. What would you have done in my work boots? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this resonated, share it. Someone out there needs to hear they're worth fighting for.